and for the rest of the day, the whole house had the weather of fun. If you live the version of that night, listen carefully. The child is not disrespectful. The child is not spoiled. The child is not this generation. The child is from a different generation than you and mean that quite literally. And you're parenting them with a manner waiting for a world that no longer exists. Stay with me. At the end of this video, you're going to understand them better than you did right now. In the next few minutes, we're going to cover what generational cohort actually is, why the way you were raised want to work on your child, and what to do instead with practical things you can start tonight. And then we introduce you to the newest generation on earth, one most parents haven't even heard of yet, and why if you have a baby right now or you are planning one soon, the rules is about to change again. If you've ever felt like you are failing as a parent, even though you are trying your best, this video is going to change something for you. Let's start with something that sounds simple, but most parents have never thought about. A generation is not just an age group. Generation is a group of people who were shaped at the same world events, same technology, same culture during the year their brain were developing. Hold on to that for now. I'm coming back to it in a bit. What you grew up in, the economy, the school, what was on TV, what your parents feared, what your country was going through at the time, all of that programmed how you see the world today. But here is the thing, the world that shaped you and the world that shaped your child is not the same. Let's read the generation that quickly. Baby boomers, born roughly 1946 to 1964. These are our grandparents. They grew up around independence, military coups, and civil war. They were taught respect authority, don't ask questions, work hard, suffer in silence. The group was survivor, feeling were a luxury nobody could actually afford. Gen X, roughly 1965 to 1980. These are the forgotten middle child of generation. They grew up under military rule. They have seen the first, second, third, fourth national development programs, even SAP. The world government after government promised a better Nigeria and deliver something else. They learned to hustle early, trust nobody fully, figure things out themselves. Millennials, roughly 1981 to 1961. This is probably you watching this. They grew up on
It's a super story.
You Nitel, then Yahoo Mail, then Extra Pro. You survived ASU strikes, NEPA blackouts, and watching the Naira becomes a shadow of itself. You were the first generation told, go to school, get a good grade, and be set for life. Then you graduated into an economy that had no room for you. Gen Zs, roughly 1997 to 2012, the first generation born into the internet. You don't remember a world without smartphone. You grew up watching their parents document life online. Their social life is digital. Their mental health vocabulary is advanced. You question everything and everyone, including authority, clearly yours. Gen Alpha, roughly 2010 to 2024. These are your primary school kids and early secondary school kids. They are the tablet generation. Many were swapping screens before they could talk. Children 8 and under average about 2.5 hours of print media a day, and 40% have their own tablets by the age of 2. Their brains are forming around screens at a scale no earlier generation experienced. And then there is the newest one, Gen Beta, come from 2025 to probably 2040. If you have a baby right now, or you're expecting one, or perhaps you're planning a wedding, congratulations, you're raising a Gen Beta, and there's something about them that makes them completely different from every other generation. For what is coming for a Gen Beta parent is something nobody is ready for, but that's beyond the scope of this video. Put all of that in your mind, because here's where it gets really uncomfortable. I'm done.
Before we get to this, we will talk about the as we have frequently people. All these names, mega,
Thomas,
whatever. Who is deciding all of this?
fair question. Researchers do demographers who study this pattern. The names and the rough date comes from a place like the Pew Research Center. Demographers who actually coined Gen Alpha and Gen Beta. They are not perfect lines, but the shaping is real. Now that you've met everyone, there's a little tribe that doesn't sit neatly in any of those boxes. The actors stop right in the track between millennials and Gen Zs. Too young for the millennials to play in, too old for the Gen Z to accept. The millennials look at them and say, "You're practically a baby." Gen Z look at them and say, "Okay, Uma, it belongs to both and to neither." We even have a name, Zillennials, literally Gen Z and millennial match together, roughly born between 1993 and 1998. But if you want to go a little bit too stringent, we say 1994 to 1936. Yes, in Dorsey, a generation researcher described them perfectly. Analog roots, but digital instinct. They are old enough to remember life before the smartphone, but not before the internet. They are the last group of people who know what a to-go group chats and a BlackBerry Messenger feels like. If you ever feel parenting is hard, it's because it actually is, and you're not alone. In 2024, US Surgeon General took the US step of issuing a public health advisory just about parents. He discovered that nearly half, that is 48%, say that on most days their stress is completely overwhelming. For other adults who are not parents, it's 26%. Although that study was America, but as any parenting Nigerian WhatsApp group, you hear the same thing. The struggle is real, it is measured, and it's almost universal. The question is why? There's no BSc in parentology or MSc in parenthood, and even if there were, no degree can fully prepare you for parenting. Most parents are doing something that feels natural, but it's actually the roots of the problem. You are trying to raise your child the way you were raised.
What happened to raising my child the way I was raised? My parents flogged me and I turned out fine. Are you saying I should not flog my children?
Grandpa is not alone in this talk. A lot of parents are thinking the same thing. My parents flogged me, they're not fine. My parents shouted, I respected him. My parents said because I said so and I obeyed. Oh, why won't this child just listen? That is the truth that is going to stink a bit. You did not turn out fine, you turned out functional.
Functional? What does that even mean? I have a job, I have a house, I have children. I'm fine.
Calm down. Let me explain. Functional means you can walk, you can survive. Hey, you can even take care of your family. But are you healthy? Stay with me. The CDC and CASA study over 17,000 adults and found a clear pattern. The more harshness, fear, and adversity a child grew up around, the higher the risk of anxiety and depression as an adult. The more it stacks up, the stronger the effect. Now, to be fair, that study measured serious adversity, not every raised voice, but the direction is the lesson. How a child is treated doesn't just vanish when they grew up in compounds. Many people raised that way turn out anxious, people pleasing, scared of authority, unable to express their emotions, and possibly carrying generational patterns. And they're now starting to understand, maybe through a conversation, podcast, or video like this. The methods that produce you were often designed to produce a compliant human, because the world your parent lived in at the time, the word compliances, obey the elder, obey the boss, obey the government, don't ask questions. And as long as you do all of that, you will be fine. But the world your child lives in does not reward blind compliance. It rewards critical thinking, emotional intelligence, the ability to question, to negotiate, to advocate for yourself. Oh yeah, science has a lot to say in this rep. Teenage brain is not a smaller version of yours. It's wired differently at this stage. Research summarized by the National Institute of Mental Health shows the prefrontal cortex, that is the part behind the forehead that handles self-control, planning, and long-term thinking, is one of the last parts of the brain to fully mature. It doesn't mature until mid to late 20s. At the same time, a teenager's brain feels rewards more strongly than yours does. A like on a post, a win in a game, anything new gives them a bigger rush than the same thing gives you. That's why they chase it so hard. It's not shallowness. Your brain is simply built right now to feel these things more intensely, and that is not a bad thing on its own. The very same wiring is what lets a teenager throw their whole life into a skill, a subject, or a dream. Point it at the right thing and it becomes a fuel. Now, that is the reward side of the brain. But here's another part that matters even more in of an argument: the alarm. Deep in the brain sits the amygdala, and its whole job is to sense danger and sound the alarm. You're raising out, tight chest, the urge to fight or freeze. And here's the important part: when you shout, that alarm fires in your teenager's brain in exactly the same way it fires in yours when your father shouted at you all those years ago. Same brain, same alarm. That part hasn't changed in a single generation. So if the alarm is the same, why the different reaction? Because of what the brain does next. The story itself is about the alarm, and that story is learned from the world you grew up in. Remember what we said? You were raised in a world that rewarded obedience, so your brain learned one script: this is authority, I must obey now or I will be punished. The child is being raised in a world that talks openly about failing, respect, and safety. So their brain learned a different script. This person is being unsafe with my emotions and need to protect myself. Same alarm, different script. So instead of snapping into obedience, it shuts down completely, like Ola did. And for a Gen Alpha child, the toddler is 6 years old to 10 years old. It's even more dramatic. The attention isn't broken. Here's the real issue: the app we use are engineered to capture attention. Feeling that sensitive reward system, they need it every second. So when you give a 3-minute lecture about cleaning their room, you're competing with software designed by billion-dollar companies to be the most rewarding thing in the room. It's not that your child isn't focused, it's that they've been trained to expect a reward far faster than real life gifts. You're not a bad parent, you're a parent using a map for a city that no longer exists. Always explain your reasoning. Always. Just accept so. It's the fastest way to lose a Gen Z child. You're not asking why though. disrespectful. They're asking why, because they need to understand. Their word has trained them to question everything. This is one of the most studied findings in all parenting. The clinical psychologist Diana Bamrand sorted parenting into styles. The authoritative parent, firm limits plus warmth and explanation. This gets the best outcomes anywhere, anytime. Then we have the authoritarian parents, high control, no explanation. This consistently gets some of the worst. And there are others, permissive and unresolved. We don't want to go there. Explaining isn't softness, it is the style that the evidence actually backs. 2. Validate the emotion before you correct the behavior. If your daughter is screaming because you said no to the sleepover, don't start with "stop shouting at me." Start with "I can see you are really upset. I get it." Then hold the boundary, and the answer is still no. This isn't being soft, it's being smart, and it's backed two way. UCLA neuroscientists find that simply putting feelings into words reduce the activities in the amygdala, that alarm center we talked about. Naming the emotion literally turns down its volume in the brain, and the psychologist John Gotham spent years studying what he called emotional coaching. Parents who treat a child's emotion as a moment to connect and teach instead of dismissing it, their children grow up with better self-control, fewer behavioral problems, and higher self-esteem. So, validate first. The emotion has to be acknowledged before the logic can land. 3. Give them control autonomy. You can see child who feels controlled will rebel, but one who feels trusted will surprise you. There's a whole field of research behind this. Self-determination theory, for instance, shows that teenagers need a sense of choice and ownership to thrive. Autonomy, supportive parenting, track with better well-being. Heavy controlling parent tracks with more depression. So instead of be home by 8, try what time do you think is reasonable to be home and why? Negotiate and put the line. Control autonomy, that is you giving them freedom inside the fence. 4. Don't take away their phone. Don't make their phone the enemy. Don't do that. Their phone is their social life. Banning it doesn't teach discipline. It teaches isolation. Instead, get into their digital world. Ask about the trends. Watch the video with them. The parent who understands their world as a seat at the table. The parent who fights it gets lost. 1. Match their format. Their brain is wired for short, visual, interactive content. So when you teach them, don't lecture, show, demonstrate, use story, use visual, keep it short and simple. 2. Build attention deliberately. If apps are training them to expect instant reward, you have to deliberately rebuild slow attention through reading time, through outdoor play, through conversation at the dining table, and through something that sounds strange. Let them know it's okay to be bored. Researchers have actually tested this. Studying the Creative Research Journal found that people who went through a boring task afterward perform better on creative tasks. Boredom creates mental space where ideas are born. Every time you hand a child a screen to kill the boredom, you may be killing the creativity too. Never wonder why your best idea comes when you are taking a shower or when you are taking a walk. Boredom is a creativity force. Let them be bored. 3. Name the emotion early. Don't wait for them to explode. Teach them words like frustrated, overwhelmed, disappointed from the age of 3. Remember what we saw in the brain. Naming the feeling towards the intensity. A child who can name the feeling doesn't need to scream the feeling. This single skill can save you years of tantrums. 4. Be the algorithm. If you don't correct their content, YouTube will. If you don't shape their value, TikTok will. If you don't have meaningful conversation with them, ChatGPT will. You cannot opt out of the digital world, but you can be the most influential voice in it. Sit together, talk daily, ask free questions, be present.
Our culture, our elder, spare the role, spoil the child. You want to throw all of that away because of nation, whatever.
Nobody's asking you to throw away your culture, grandpa. There's so much wisdom in how our parents raised us. Discipline, community, the respect for elders, a sense of identity. We must keep all of that, but we must also be honest. Our parents did the best they could with what they had, and we must do the best we can with what we now know. Loving your child does not mean abandoning your value. It means translating your value for the world they actually live in. A child raised with respect and explanation is more respectful than a child raised with fear. A child raised with structure and empathy is more disciplined than a child raised with shouting. A child who feels seen by their parents will choose their parents' wisdom for the rest of their life. The goal is not to be your child's friend, not to be your child's dictator, to be their safe place and their compass. Before you go, I promise we'll come back to them better, and you need to hear this because nobody is talking about it yet. The beta will be the first human on earth. You never know a world without artificial intelligence. Not just talking, learning, playing, growing up alongside it.
God forbid.
It's not something you forbid, it's common, and parents who understand it early will have the advantage. Think about what that means for a second. The better baby won't just use AI, we grow up with it. AI tutor, AI companion, AI assistant in the home, even AI nanny. By the time they are 3, you will be having a full conversation with machine. By 5, AI will be helping them learn to read. By 10, it will be shaping their opinion and their worldview in a way no generation has ever experienced. Gen Z has social media, Gen Alpha had tablets. The meta we have here woven into the fabric of their childhood. And the parenting playbook for this generation has not been written yet. We are writing it in real time. Let's be honest, nobody has all the answers yet. The research is starting to come in, and we will follow it as it does. Press the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. This is only the beginning. There's a lot coming. Share this with one parent who needs to hear it, a friend, a sibling, a cousin, a co-worker, someone struggling with their teenagers, someone tired of shouting, someone who keeps asking why this child won't listen. And in the comment, tell me one thing. What is the thing your parents did to you that you've consciously decided not to do to your child? Let's learn from each other. Read other people's comments, reply. This is how we build something real. Take care of those children to come through you, but they're not built like you, and that's a good thing. Remember, the goal is to raise a child who will be us, even in our absence.